But that was just a really cool time, spending time with your cousins, But Waveland, Mississippi was just super cool. I have some really cool memories, very cool memories. And it was simple things like walking through the campground. I had my Walkman with my cassette tape that I could play, my spare batteries, my headphones, and I was happy as could be. It was just so cool. Some I was thinking about this earlier. This is such a weird thing. So when I lived in Georges, now this Angel had a car. She was going to Central though, so I couldn't ride with her to school. But I would take the bus, and I only had to take it up until I was right at 16, maybe right before that. 15, 16, must have been 16. But I would ride the bus before I got my car, and the bus would drop us off and pick us up from the front of the subdivision. So it was maybe a 10-minute walk from the bus stop to my house, because my house was the second house on the right, but it was just all woods up until you get into the subdivision. So my friend Christy's mom, so Christy lived in the neighborhood too, and Christy's mom didn't work, so she would always pick up Christy and a couple of the other girls that got off the bus that lived in the back of the subdivision. She'd pick them all up, she'd drop them off in the morning and pick them up in the afternoon. And right in the beginning of whenever we first moved there, she offered several times, like, let me drive you to drop you off. Look, it was hot as hell some days. I would have loved to have gotten in that car and ridden to my house. But I always said no. The only time I ever rode in that car with her home from the bus stop was maybe 3 or 4 occasions when it was pouring down rain. I'm talking pouring down rain, because even if it was just raining, regular rain, I would have my umbrella and I'd walk home. And earlier I was sitting here contemplating, why was I like that? And I was checking in with it. There were days that I didn't feel like walking home. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was hot. Why would I not get in that car? Not because I felt fearful or anything. These are my friends. My mom worked, and so my mom couldn't be in a carpool line. She wasn't there to switch days with Christy's mom or, bring them home or bring us home or to the bus stop. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like I didn't want to put them out. I didn't want her to feel like I was taking advantage, even though she wouldn't have. I mean, that was stupid. She's driving right past my house. But that was my quirkiness. But I never rode there, even all the times I wanted to, but I never did. And I don't know, it stands out with me with how weird. It's just weird. I'm actually going to have to sit with that because I want to figure out where that's coming from. Like, why would I do that? Like, what would make me literally walk when I don't even feel well? Like, why was it that strong of a feeling? And usually when I sit with something, I can easily discover the answer. But that just sticks out. It's weird. When I was 12, so I always wanted a dog. And when I turned 12, I finally got a dog. He was a mixed dog. He was a little grayish black. His name was Smokey. I got him when I lived in Texas. He traveled all the way to Louisiana with me. And one day while Angel and I were at school, Mom was at work. No. Mom and Dad were out of town because of what happened, of what I'm about to tell you. But we got home, and Smokey was dead, laying on, by the back door. He loved to chase after UPS trucks, like a lot of dogs do. And for some reason, whatever reason, he got off his lead or out of the yard, and he chased a UPS truck, and that's how he died, doing what he loved. And the UPS driver, I guess, felt bad, but he brought his body up and left him there. Well, my parents are out of town, and we're like, what the hell are we going to do with the dead dog? So I'm crying. I'm upset. We called one of Angel's friends to come dig a hole in the backyard. And we had a pretty big yard. This is when, okay, so let me go back. We lived in Georges, and then we made this final move to Plantation Estates, which is off of Jewel Road, for those familiar in with Baton Rouge. Off of Jewel Road, like way down Jewel Road, going towards 961. But it was plantation estates, and it was, they had big lots. So my point is, when we buried Smokey, he was pretty far in the backyard under a tree. And I kid you not, my dad, every time he would ride the lawnmower, cutting the grass, he would sing at the top of his lungs on top of old Smokey every time he'd roll the lawnmower over his grave. And Smokey's still there today. Because, of course, we didn't take him out of the grave and bring him with us, but he's still there. May he rest in peace. Or pieces, maybe. Peace. That was gaudy, sorry. It's probably pieces now, but anyway, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. We all know that without stating the obvious. Anyway. But that's just a cool memory I have of him doing that. He's being silly. Angel being 2 years older than me, I have to say this, so she looks a lot older than me. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. She doesn't. She's beautiful. She's a great mom. There's so many things about her I admire. And she's one of these people, she's only one of three people that I can't see living on earth without her. I don't know how I would do it. I think if something happened, you figure out how to do it, but the thought of it makes me nauseated. Like, it literally makes me feel sick. And I'm not just saying that. I really feel that way. Anyway, so let me see where I want to go next. I think I want to tell you what happened, though, which started kind of changing the course of things. So high school's great, all that, right? Angel's 2 years older, so she ends up graduating from high school. She ends up going to LSU. I was really grieving her not being at the house. Just, she's my sister, and now it's just me. I don't want to be an only child, But it was a really hard transition. And she ended up having a really hard transition at LSU, too. She ended up getting, people always want to say you got in with the wrong crowd. But the thing is, even if you're in the wrong crowd, you still have decision-making, ability. You still have the ability to say no or yes to something. And she said yes, as she's experimenting with some drugs. And so I'm not blaming it on anybody else. It's her damn fault. 100%. You know why I'm really rubbing that in and why I like to do that? Because she seems like she comes across so perfect sometimes now. And I'm not just saying that sarcastically. Like, she really does. I call her the boss of the family, so it's hard to... So when I look back on these times when she's making bad decisions, I just need to, kind of really emphasize how bad they were, rub it in, that kind of thing. I love my sister. But she ended up making some bad decisions. And, is it bad decisions? Well, a lot of people experiment with drugs, especially when they're starting out in college. It's just, new life, new way, no restrictions. And I was grieving her, so I was in contact with her pretty often. And then one night she calls me, and she is so messed up. She doesn't know where she is. She needs me to come get her. I'm going to have to now, put the car in neutral, push it down the driveway, sneak out. I had to sneak out the window and go pick up my sister. And look, nothing would have stopped me. I don't care if I had to slam the door to get out of the house. I was going to help her. I was in full-blown rescue mode when she called, because she's not the type to ask for help. So I drove out to LSU. I had her describe to me what was around her. She's so doped up, she doesn't know where she is. She starts describing where she is. She's right down the road from her dorm. She's in the Circle K parking lot. Like, literally in her car. She's not lost. She just doped up. So I'm laughing too, because she don't even drink today. She didn't do nothing. I need her to mess up every now and then just to make me feel better about my life. But anyway, so I did. I went and got her and brought her back to her dorm, and then she was going through a pretty rough time at that time. So I went and talked to our youth pastor, the one that was youth pastor at the time. And the way this works at our church is once you graduate from high school, you can no longer be in the youth program. You have to go into the college level program. Well, nobody was in that program. I mean, really, nobody's going to be in college coming back to your upper level youth group. That's just not how it works. So I asked the pastor, can she please come back and be a part of our group just for a couple of Sundays, because she needs this group. She's struggling. And everything in me knew he was going to say yes. Who wouldn't say yes? But he didn't. He said no. And I felt that go through my head, down my shoulders, down my chest and stomach, and down my legs and through my feet like a bolt of lightning. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I even said, so she can't come just for a couple of Sundays? I said, she needs us. She needs this group of people. And then I'm crying. I'm so worried about my sister. Like, I'm begging. And he said no. And I walked out of there and I never went back. I never stepped foot back there again, because this was my sister, and he just denied her the help she needed. And I knew that this group would rally around her. I was so pissed off. I was pissed off at church, of religion. I was pissed because she meant everything to me. You know, she did end up getting her crap together. She actually did. She ended up, she's been married 30-something years now. She's got 2 kids and a grandkid, and she's got a great job, and, you know, she's smart and just doing well in life. And this was a short phase she went through, so that's why I really like to rub it in, because it's so damn short. I don't have any other leverage. She knows my sense of humor. But, you know, some other things ended up unfolding. And what Angel did, so let me go back to that. My sister ended up quitting LSU. She ended up getting a job. Get this. She was actually a private investigator for a while. Just like worked for this company where she'd follow people around. like just to keep tabs on them for, I don't know, insurance fraud or, you know, spouse cheating, whatever. But I think she enjoyed it. She sold rainbow vacuums too. She worked at Kmart. That's where she met her husband, actually. He was a mechanic there, and he kept asking her out. She said no and finally said yes, and here we are. But but what she ended up doing was, it took her a while to get pregnant, a long while. And even with a young child, or I think she actually had both of them at that point, she went back to school. She got her degree in accounting, and she got a master's degree, and she was the top of her class. Like, now we're at show-off level. You know, this is my way of bragging on her, because I really just love her so much. She's really hard sometimes, though. She's an Aquarius, and I'm a Pisces, and we're so total opposites. And I'm like, you know, I feel everything, and she's like, she has a switch. I love her. I'm saying this because I can say anything I want, because, I mean, she's my sister. She has a switch that I wish I had, that it's just like turn off mode. And I'm like, hello, are you in there? Can you come give me a hug? You know, like something. I think the fact that we're so opposite, for me personally, it helps me, because she helps ground me. I'm kind of teared up because I miss her. We haven't been spending time together lately, and I just miss her. So this is a good sign for me to just show up at her house like I usually do and walk in the back door and make myself at home. So that's on my top of my list. I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to move on to the next subject, which I'm kind of dragging my feet on, because this is a tough one for me. So, I'll be back.